2020 has been a long year for all of us. Let's talk about job burnout while working remotely. Hello, my name is Tucker Johnson, and welcome to Remotely Possible, the show where we celebrate and encourage remote workers all over the globe. Here in Seattle, Washington, it is gloomy, it is raining, it is a horrible day, and everything is shut down because we're right in the middle of the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. So that's why I'm recording from my beautiful home office here with my lovely view of the gray sky. I've struggled with burnout for my entire career. I have a really bad tendency to throw myself into a project or an initiative with so much passion and excitement that it's only a matter of time before I just lose it. I get completely burnt out. Over the years, I've learned to pace myself better, but this year, during the 2020 pandemic, my resolve has really been tested. I find it useful to think of burnout as being the opposite of balance. So balance is what we need to strive for in order to avoid completely getting burnt out at work. This is particularly true if we're working from home, where the natural lines between work life and home life are already kind of blurred. A whole book could be written about work-life balance, but today we're going to keep it really simple. We're going to talk about 3 simple, practical things that we can do to maintain balance in our lives and avoid getting burnt out at work. Number 3 is my favorite because it's super counterintuitive, so make sure to stick around for that one at the end. Tip number 1, go for a walk. Now, it doesn't have to be a walk, but you need to go outside and you need to get some exercise. After sitting at my desk and staring at a screen, I start to lose my concentration. I start to go insane after a while. The harder I fight it, the worse it gets. So what I've learned to do is just not fight it. When I sense that my concentration is starting to wander off, I wrap up what I'm doing and I go for a walk. When I'm working from home, like I am today, this is especially important that I leave the house. There are way too many distractions in this place. And if I take a break, well, in my house, then I'm going to end up doing laundry. I'm going to end up doing the dishes. I'm going to be playing with the kids. I'm going to take a nap in my bed. There are so many different things that can distract me from actually getting any work done when I'm working from home. That's why when I take a break, I like to get out of the house. Getting out of the house allows me to focus my attention on what I really need to be doing, which is recharging my brain. When I walk, the physical exercise helps to get my circulation flowing and it improves my mood. My mind, in the meantime, is free from distractions and I have an opportunity to really reset my brain. This way, when I do sit back down to do my work, I can give it my full attention. Number 2, have set working hours and stick to them. We talked in another session about the difference between a calendar and a schedule. While a calendar is something that you follow and it dictates your day for you, a schedule is something that you create and it gives you power over your day. So while a schedule you're beholden to, a calendar can be, So while a calendar you are beholden to, a schedule can be very empowering. When working remotely, it's important to have a schedule because sometimes when working remotely, it's important to have a schedule that blocks out our working hours for the day because sometimes we can forget to quit for the day. If we were at an office, there's a natural starting point when people show up in the office, and then there's a natural end point when people start leaving the office. You know it's time to leave because you see everybody else around you getting ready, packing their bags, starting to leave the office. While working from home, you don't get these cues, so sometimes it's easy to forget that it's time to quit. You know it's time to stop working because you see everybody else packing up to go home. But when working remotely, you don't get this visual cue, so you don't realize it's time to go home. Set an alarm or set a notification so that you know when to stop working for the day. Tip number 3, and this one is super counterintuitive because I'm going to tell you that sometimes you need to work more to avoid getting overwhelmed. Sometimes the best thing to do if you are feeling overwhelmed at work is to actually work more. This directly contradicts my previous tip to set working hours, so give me a second to explain. Firstly, it's important to clarify that when I recommend working additional hours, we need to do this in a very controlled way. I'm not talking about staying late occasionally as needed, ad hoc, just randomly. I'm talking about making a conscious decision to work additional hours during a set time frame in order to catch up on work when you get behind. By setting aside additional hours and fully dedicating them to what we need to get done, we can get ahead at work. Mind you, not every weekend. It's very rare. But sometimes I decide that I'm going to work on a Saturday, for example, so that I can get ahead. I can get some extra work done. Rather than contribute to my burnout, this actually really helps, because what it means is that if I work over that weekend, I can start the next week on Monday caught up. And being caught up at the beginning of my week by working over the weekend, my whole week suddenly is much more manageable. And this really helps me not to stress out during the week. Just make sure you don't develop a bad habit. If you do this every weekend, it's no longer a neat little method for getting caught up. It's just the new normal. It's just what you do. You're now the person that works on the weekend. So don't be the person that works on the weekend just because. If you're like me and you've struggled with burnout, or if you're currently struggling with burnout, then perhaps the best thing that I can do for you right now is just to simply let you know that you're not alone. The reality is that it is hard. It sucks when you're burnt out, especially when you're working remotely. You don't have that in-office support group. You don't have a network of people to rely upon. Make sure that you're getting your exercise, or at least getting out of the house. Create a schedule to help define your working hours and your off working hours. And if you really need to, go ahead and work late. Just make sure that you're doing it in a conscious and controlled way. Don't overdo it. Burnout is real. Trust me. 2020 has taken a toll on a lot of us, including myself. Obviously, there are many more things that we can do than what we've talked about today to avoid burnout. So I'd like to know, what are your tips for working remotely? Share your experience and let us know in the comments. If you'd like to hit me up directly, send me an email, info@remotelypossible.world. Once again, my name is Dr. Johnson. I'll see you for the next installment of Remotely Possible. If you found this useful and would like more content supporting remote workers, make sure to subscribe below so that you'll be notified as we post new videos.